Hey folks, welcome back to the Portable Gamer. Welcome back to European Truck Simulator, and welcome back to Bilbao, Spain. And I went ahead and did a bunch of things off camera. I got the truck fixed. I slept. It's 11 a.m. and we already picked out a job. We're going to take this excavator to Barcelona. And one thing I will do, let me show you here. It's got us on the... No, it doesn't yet. I have to wait till we pick it up. But what I want to do is, rather than taking the sort of the northern route, I want to take the southern route so we can cross a couple cities off our list. Oh, and let me hop in first person. See if I can get this hooked up in one swing. Yesterday, doing my American truck sim vid, I was able to maybe get some of my mojo back. It'd be nice if I could, because I used to feel like I had a little bit of skill doing this, and then somewhere must have got lost, as Peter Wolf says. Right. Better. Still hit a little bit wonky, but take what we can get. Right. Tracking is tracking. Let's take a look at our trailer. Alright, that's not little. Not too big, but it's not little. And getting out of Bilbao is going to be fun. It's driving over here, missing some of the turns, and just, it's so tight. It's so unbelievably tight. But isn't that what we're looking for? Don't we want it to be a little difficult? Right. How far do we have? 700 kilometers. So about a 30 to 40 minute video. We'll see. Ideally it all goes in daylight. But can't promise it. Might be a little tail end. Might be a little tail end in darkness. But we'll do our best. Right, so we get to cross Bilbao off our list. Oh, that's the other thing. And I'm just going to, pardon me, stop right here in traffic. So it's got us going up here. Let's go down here. In fact, let's go down here. Let's go down here. Come on. We can do this. So we want to come at least here. And we want to go here. Yeah, there we go. Right, and that'll take us through all these cities. No. Come on. I'm going to make this happen. There we go. And no. Come on. God. No. Come on. So we get to there. That's fine. There we go. Is that the one? Yep. And that's going to take us through all these other cities. Beautiful. Face tracking. Still tracking. Truck. Still trucking. Okay. I think everything is in place. We just got to get through this. Through this spaghetti bowl that is Bilbao. And get out of town. Alright. Oh. Thank you. Thank you for being so courteous and kind of jamming me up there. But I appreciate your courteousness. Right. Tuesday morning. Ah, I'm becoming a man. And again. Tuesday morning here in America, US of America. And got CNN on, watching out of the corner of one eye, because I feel like some things are going to be happening the next few weeks here in America. Very exciting things. So I'm keeping an eye on that. You want to know? Oh God. Oh really? Okay. So there you go. Well, just as I saw it and just as I was reaching for my turn signal, we took trailer damage. What can you do? We will persevere. Sort of doesn't matter now, and I don't feel like starting over. That's one of those things that I don't know. I mean, I hit plenty of things in this game inadvertently. I do try to drive as clean as possible, but I do hit things. I know I do. But you know, things like this, the way the city's set up, and I'm not making excuses, I'm not blaming anybody, but I feel like the city is designed to be sort of devious, you know, intentionally challenging. So that was, I don't know, as soon as I saw that I needed to move over, oh God, there goes my frame rate. Bye. Bye. As soon as I saw that I needed to get over, I got the signal on, started to get over, and there just happened to be a car there. So it was, you know, it was my fault. It was not my fault. Destiny, the zeitgeist, I don't know. I'm, right. I'll leave the fail in. I guess the trick is for me to make less fail. There are also, when I was driving around in the dark, just right at this plaza, it says there are 2 places to sleep. There are no places to sleep in this plaza. So there can be mistakes on a map. Come on. It's like another inch. Come on, it's right there. There it is. There can be mistakes on a map, and I guess I make mistakes too. So, yeah. Sucks to start a trip that way. It's the way we started our last trip too, didn't we? No, that was our ATS trip. Yeah, our American truck sim vid from yesterday. Pulling out of the yard after we picked up our job, I clipped a car, and then getting off the freeway before we delivered, 600 miles later, I clipped another car. So I kind of bookended the trip with bad driving, and I just did the same thing here. Started the trip taking trailer damage. I hate that. I hate taking trailer damage at all, but I especially hate when it happens early, because I always have this, I always ponder, should I stop right now and find an archive save game and start over? I don't necessarily like to do that. I'll do it for the quality of the video, but I don't want to do it to give the impression that I'm, you know, that I never screw up, or that I never make mistakes, or that I never take damage. I try to do it as little as possible, but that's on me. That's kind of a, I don't know, like a skill thing. But I don't want to get into creative editing to make it look like I can do things that I can't. And one thing at the moment that I cannot do is drive perfect all the time. Wish I could. I'd love that. Yeah, sort of on that topic. I'm prepping a race. I've started doing endurance racing, sports car racing. I feel like I'm getting project cars sorted out. I'm gradually bumping up the AI and making it more and more sort of burly, and making the races harder and harder. Assetto Corsa, I never got there. Now I'm on a gamepad, not a wheel, and it could be that these racing sims are so realistic that you have to drive on a wheel. You can't do it with a gamepad. I don't know. I feel like I'm getting a lot better in Project Cars 2 with the gamepad. But the race that I'm prepping now, it's an endurance race. Big secret, as always. You know, I like to tease a little bit and then have a reveal. But it's an endurance race. And is he gone yet? I can't see through the big spinning green Euro. Yeah, he's gone. And it's going to be super hard. I can tell you, it's vintage cars, and it's actually a specific historic race. It's not just this car on this track. I'm trying to recreate a specific race on a specific day in history, and I would be driving the car that won, but then it's up to me to make it win. And if you're watching my Project Cars videos, you know I turn cheats and assists and everything. I just make it as miserable and difficult as possible. And there's some races where, I mean, you can always back the AI down to 0 and hey, look, I won. I typically run it at 25 and 25, but I've been bumping it up a little bit. So my practice for this race, I'm at 30 and 30, and it's, I don't know, I feel like I'll get to a point where I won't be able to do it. I won't be able to compete. And Euro Truck, right? The sim that we're in right now, there's no difficulty. There are some assists that you can turn on, but there's no real hard mode. You know, you just drive as carefully as you can. With the variable AI in Project Cars 2, and even that they split it and that they give you two things, skill and aggression. You can have very skillful drivers that are cautious, but when you crank up that aggression and they bump you and they try to get inside, late braking, really kind of aggressive racing moves, and for me, I find it challenges me to really be on the racing line. I did a race at Snetterton, and trying to pass a Mustang in the middle of the night, I guess the way the AI is set up, they yield you the racing line as a real race driver would do. When you see the blue flag, you get off the racing line so the faster traffic can continue racing on their race line, on the race line. And there was, you know, trying to pass this Mustang, I believe the AI was trying to get off the race line, and I was trying to pass, well, not really trying to, but I was trying not to hit him. But in trying not to hit him, I was not on the race line. And you could see the AI sort of flutter and try to figure it out, like, when I'm yielding to faster traffic, I get off the race line and move over, but he's moving over too, he being me. Right, so you could feel the AI, or at least I could feel the AI, kind of freaking out. Like, you know, I'm giving you the line, buddy. Why? What are you doing over here? What are you doing off the line? So I feel like when you crank that aggression setting up, you do have the AI doing more late braking and poking around for those little inside moves, waiting for me as the player, waiting for me to make an error, and then getting in there for the pass. So I feel like as you crank the AI up, we're tanking frame rate. I think we're gonna pick it back up in a second here. I remember coming through here on the way into Bilbao, and it's just an unoptimized portion of the map, according to the internet. So what I'm saying is, as you crank the AI up, at least the aggression part of their profile, I know that puts it more on you as the player to drive correctly. Because as they get more aggressive, looking for those late break points and looking for those inside lines, you need to be where you're supposed to be as a real driver. Because if you're not, then the AI, they just sort of throw themselves into you. So, I guess we're going to cross back into France briefly. I can see a little frontier up here. So that's tricky to get used to as well, that there's less latitude for me as a player to be a bad driver. And looking back at my replay, I know I can see the stuttering. It's driving me crazy too, but we're going to be out of it in a second here. I hope. So that's fun for me as a player to know that, you know, these are talking about Project Cars 2 now. You know, this is a proper racing simulator. It's not a sandbox game. And in racing, there is typically, some tracks have several, but most tracks have one optimal race line. And if you want to get the fastest lap times, you sort of need to be on it. And then as you get deeper into a race and there's a nice thick sticky coating of rubber laid down on the track, you definitely want to be on the race line because that's where all the rubber is. So that's a real thing. That's a real life thing. And having a race sim set up that it sort of compels you to be mindful of that and to be on the proper race line, which is only, a lot of places, again, only one car wide. There's some tracks that have different lines and different width of lines, but for the most part, there's really just, come on, there we go. For the most part, most tracks, there is a race line, and it's fascinating to play a race sim that really not expects you, but yeah, sort of expects you. I know, I could be getting over, but didn't want to go over and come back. Right. Anyway, enough about Project Cars. But I'm prepping that historic, legendary endurance race. We'll see how it goes. Do we want this exit? I think we do. Yep. Okay. All right. Whew. Frame rate is back. And we're just going to drive nice and smooth and cool all the way to Barcelona, like little Fonzies. And I don't think I am speeding. Try to get my hand up here on the keyboard without bouncing my view. Right. Next rest stop in 7 hours, job 7:30. Okay. So we're going to need to speed, we're going to need to sleep, or we're going to need to drive as we're falling asleep. 6 million ways to screw up this mission. Choose one. Alright. Well, we don't need to worry about it for 7 hours. So let's just drive. We'll speed a little bit. Try to make up some time. Right. Out of Bilbao. Out of... right as I say that, my frame rate tanks one more time. Are we done now? Are we happy? Okay. We're back to 50 FPS. Jeez and Pete's. It's like every day is a struggle here. Come on. Also, it was getting cloudy. I thought it was going to rain, so I turned my lights on. Don't need them. And there's another couple FPS. Right. Okay, so let's set our cruise control at 100 kilometers an hour. We'll hope for no tickets, and we'll just try to get there as quick as we can. What else can we do? We're committed. Right. And just as we get all that set up, we got to do a little thing. But I'm looking at all these toll booths, and I was just about ready to whinge about them. Stupid toll booths. And I thought back to how many times, this was probably 3 to 5, oh shit. Traffic, no traffic. I thought back to how many times, just a few weeks ago even, you gonna fast pass me? Invisible wall? No. Whew. Thinking back to how many times, even just a few weeks ago, I was for some reason crashing as I was approaching toll booths. The game was crashing to desktop as I was approaching toll booths, and how we seemed to have stabilized that after I took out that dolly trailer mod. So, before I start complaining about all these toll booths, I caught myself. I kept myself correct, and reminded myself there are as many things to be optimistic about as there are to be cranky about. And one of them is the game is very stable at the moment, so that's a good thing. Alright, we're going through POW, which I have not discovered on this profile yet, and I think that southern route is why we're going to be tight on time. I think there's a lot more twisty on that southern route, but it will be prettier, it will be more interesting, and we'll have stuff discovered on the edge of the map, which is always nice. When you're trying to, I've never discovered 100% of a map, but I guess I'm always sort of not trying, but it's always on the edge of my agenda to do 100% discovery. So when we come down to an area like this, I think let's get the outermost area, like we did up in Scandinavia when we went up the North Cape. Let's get the outermost area, so if we ever do come back this way, we can, right, not have to go as far. And now we can't see the light. I guess we can. You get what I'm saying. Okay, turning? Not turning. Fantastic. Right. Now see, here we are in a town. Looks like plenty of roads and plenty of scenery, and our frame rate is pretty good. There's some little momentary things now and then, but for the most part, we've got a really good high frame rate, and that, I think, that has to come down to the way different sections of the map are put together and optimized. I'm not complaining. I'm just making the observation that I think some areas of the map have more efficient use of scenery, terrain, textures, whatever, because they don't look any different, but they play a lot different. And I think it's just the way that part of the map is put together. And I can't really complain because I think we're still in a ProMods area, although we might be back into Vive la France. But it's all free, and I'm guessing that there are probably a couple people coordinating something like ProMods, and then a lot of volunteers building and coding and testing. And volunteering it's kind of a gray area. You know, if you're volunteering to do surgery on refugees somewhere, I don't think you can reasonably say, hey, I'm volunteering, don't expect me to do good surgery, I'm just a volunteer. I don't think it works like that. But for something like oh, the big speed bump. But for something like ProMods, and again, I'm just talking to pass the time. This isn't carved in stone. But for something like ProMods, you know, if you do have a crew of volunteers, and I assume that you do, that's typically how these things work. Of course you want the quality to be there, but you can't really crack the whip on a volunteer the same way you do on a salaried employee, right? If you're paying somebody to build maps for you and those maps suck, you can call them into your office and say, hey man, what's up? The quality of your work is dropping off precipitously. What's the deal? But with a volunteer, you need to handle it a little bit differently, because a volunteer is doing it for love or pride, not for money. And it's a lot easier to motivate somebody when you're paying them than when you're collaborating with them. So I guess I'm speculating that some of these areas that are not optimized as well as others, that's just the way it's going to be. Because the resources to get them fixed may not be there. Speculation on my part. I have no definitive answer to that, and I could be completely wrong. I only know what I read on the internet, which is 100% accurate all the time. I read that on the internet. Right. Oh, I also found something out in another sim. If I hit my vape while the face tracking is tracking, I need to be very careful what I do with the vapor when I exhale, because face tracking doesn't know what to make of a big white cloud where my face ought to be. So it kind of freaks out a little bit. Right. I think the southern route may have been a mistake, only in that we will have to sleep. And I know we're not there yet, knock wood. I haven't really struggled with this twisty road as much as I did just getting out of Bilbao. So again, that just irks the hell out of me, because it's like we took damage where we didn't need to, and now here we are on this obviously very nefarious road. Right? Designed to be nefarious. And we're doing okay with it, but we won't have a perfect delivery because of damage we took where we didn't even need to. So yeah, I'm kind of irked. And like I said, I could go back and redo it and make it look perfect and pretend it never happened, but I don't want to do that. And it's not a question of time, it's just not wanting to get into any trickery. Now on the race side, that's a little different. But the reason is, if I'm doing these 50-minute races, if I blow it 5 minutes in and there's no possibility of me winning, I can't imagine that anybody's going to want to watch me do do 18 laps in a broken race car and my lap times are 10 seconds off of first place. Frame rate, scenery, come on, you got this. Right, does that make sense? And there's no possibility of me winning, there's no tension, and my lap times are terrible with a broken car. So why bother? So when that happens, then I do typically stop and start again. Call those practice laps. I know, I'm speeding, we gotta make up a little time. I don't want to speed that much. It seems we're going down the other side of the mountain. Carrying the mail right through there. Right. Yeah, definitely going down the mountain. It doesn't look like it. It looks like we're still climbing, but We are most definitely descending. Alright, well, maybe we can make up a little time here. Yeah, that's where you want to make up the time, is through the really twisty sections of the mountains. I think I just saw a little saluda over there. A little saluda peligro. I ran TSM for a while, which is, I believe, Truck Sim Mod. And there were a couple roads around Innsbruck, in that region of the sort of Swiss, Italian, Austrian tri-border. And there were a couple roads through the mountains that were just fantastic. They were so tight and so twisty, and obviously, again, intentionally very challenging and almost devious. They were in TSM, but they weren't in ProMods, and I want to say right about ETS like 1.25, 1.26. I want to say there was a time when ProMods hadn't really expanded out yet, and you could run TSM and ProMods. That might not be a thing. Why is it getting dark already? All right. Right. Oh dear. What? Okay. Hey, we picked the southern route. That's what you get. We're almost definitely going to have to sleep. When we get a little closer, when we get sort of stabilized, and by stabilized I mean get out of this mess that I put us in. I'll take a look and see what kind of time we have for the delivery, and if we have enough time, I may sleep when it gets dark, finish in daylight. If we don't have enough time before the job is due, then I'll just have to keep driving in the dark. Southern route, huh? Mm-hmm. Right. We're going to make it. Now, we're also going to need to start thinking, I want to drive from Barcelona, I want to drive up toward Marseille and Nice, and get into Italy, and then drive down to, I mean, I guess all the way down to Sicily. And at that point, we're going to need to decide again what we want to do. Do we want to drive back up Italy and turn to the east and stay in the DAF, or do we want to drive up Italy and just kind of hop over the Alps back to France and swap out our truck again? Yep, there it goes. So we'll need to decide that when we get a little closer. We did a few weeks in the Scania 164, although we did have a lot of different versions of it. everything from that 4x2 all the way up to the extended wheelbase 6x2 tag lift with a reefer box. So we had a little bit of variety there. This DAF, all we've done is skin it. We haven't made any changes to it. So before we get bored with the DAF, we'll think about maybe coming up out of Italy and making a quick jump back to Reims and swapping out for something else. Although, then again, where do we go from there? Because if we're staying to the east, I'd want something big with a nice big sleeper on it, and right? And if we're going to be staying in Europe and doing, I say Europe, I mean it's all Europe, but if we're going to be staying more in Western Europe around the coast, or maybe getting back into the UK, then we could get in that little Mercedes, which I think of more as a day trip truck. 300 and 400 kilometer runs, and getting back home fairly often, versus if we head into Poland and maybe even back up into Scandinavia, that we would want a bigger truck, longer wheelbase, more drive axles, and a great big sleeper, because we'd be spending more nights in it. Just a thought. Man, we are driving up a hill here, tell you what, and we're definitely gonna have to sleep. I didn't know that we would be doing parts of this trip at 30 kilometers an hour. You can let me over? Come on, buddy. Right, okay. I guess we got through that little twisty bit. And of course I'm wondering if there's going to be a corresponding twisty bit down the other side of the mountain. We shall see. Yep, I think there is. Oh, golly. Alright, so it's going on 2000. So let's, I guess, drive till it gets dark, and then let's see. There's no way we're going to make it. We've got another 3.5 hours to go in our estimate, and we're not really close on, we're too close on sleep, and we've got another 3.5 hours to go before we deliver. So we're almost inevitably going to have to sleep. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm trying to get my hand up here. "16 hours on the job," so I'm guessing we can sleep and still easily make our delivery. It's just a question of trying to time it with daylight so we're not driving at night, and also trying to find a place to sleep. That's the other thing. This is pretty though. I feel like this is the first time I've been on this road. I've been in this area before, but I don't know if I've been on this specific road. And I'm trying to balance two agendas right now. One of them is not hooking the trailer and scraping the guardrail, and the other is not putting the lorry out into traffic and running into somebody. Alright, so it's 2000. We're coming up on a gas station. Sleep now, or take a chance that we can find another one. We're already red. Let's do it. I don't even know if there is a... Yep, this is just fuel as far as I can see. Okay, not sleeping there. Frame rate is also taking a beating. And we're falling asleep. We do have fuel, though. We do have fuel, so that's nice. All right. So let's, I can see places in town, but we didn't go into town. It's too late for that. Is it? Yeah, there's no way to even get over there. Okay. So we're committed. We're going to the next rest stop either way. Oh, other way. Okay. All right. Well, let's hope there's one coming up soon. We're also speeding like, well, a little bit better now, but we're doing almost 90 in a 50. Get off and sleep or go straight. Oh, I'm gonna risk it. I'm gonna risk it. If it all goes terribly wrong, you know what? Just delete the video, pretend it never happened. You'll be none the wiser. Or will you? Yeah. Southern route was more interesting, but at the same time I have to think it was kind of a mistake. Can I even get through there? Right. So we need a rest stop up around this bend here. We are just about to start. Yep. Just, oh, and then it starts raining. Oh, fantastic. We're just about to start dozing off. Oh, no, I take that back. We'll get a couple fines first. And then we'll start dozing off. All right, cross your fingers. Need a place to sleep. Now the other thing that's funny is if this continues, we're going to, because we've only got another 2 hours till we're delivering. So I don't want us to sleep when we're 50 kilometers from dropping off, but if we're falling asleep, then we have no choice. So, all right. Game. Why do you mess with my emotions? All right. Frame rate tanking. Dropping. Oh God. I just saw it 12 in there. Right, but then rising. Ah, I see an icon. Right. I don't know if we can get to that. I don't know what side it's on. And I don't see... right. I see the fuel icon. I don't see the sleep icon. Oh, everything is just going wonderful tonight. And there's what, 1, 2, 3 traffic circles? You know, the closer we get, the more and more likely it is that you're never going to see this video. Try to not. Oh. Alright, there's one. Now these are all wide. The one that I scraped back there was single lane. Still my fault when I say that. I'm not saying like I'm off the hook because it was narrow. I knew it was narrow. Oh, game. $113 kilometers. This is crazy because we are really going to sleep 50 kilometers from the drop-off, but I don't think we have a choice. Yeah. Fall asleep sitting at this traffic signal. Come on. Come on. Told you the way this hotel room is lit, I have better light to the left side of my face than I do to the right. So when I look to the right, it tends to lose the tracking a little bit. Right. Oh, golly. Yep. Living and learning, baby. Living and learning. I don't know. I mean, I've played this sim enough. I've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours in it, and I put some time and effort into, like this. You know, I slept, so we'd be up at the right time. You can't time it to the second. You know, if it's 3 a.m. and you sleep, you're going to wake up around noon, and you won't have a full day of daylight. But there's no, you know, if it's 3 a.m., what can you do? You want to go to sleep at midnight, so you wake up at 10 or 8 or whatever. But if it's 3 a.m., what can you do? And you can't always sleep twice. Well, I take that back. A lot of times you can sleep twice. You can't sleep 3 times. It's just, you know, the game has limitations. And I did my best to get us set up to drive in daylight. And then I did choose this southern route. But who knew, you know? Oh God, what are we getting into now? So I'm going to go into here and reset this because it's sending us through the spaghetti bowl there. So maybe there, maybe there. Right. Okay, so that cleaned up the nav. Yeah, we'll just see how it goes. I have a feeling we're going to doze off and wreck the truck, but if that's the case, then I'll, like I said, delete the video and you'll never see it. It's just so quiet right now. We're all just waiting for this light to change. Is it just me, or the light's a little slower here in this part of the map? It seems awfully slow. Like, about to have a fit slow. Right. This is where the healing starts. It's just everything. The frame rate is tanking. I'm falling asleep. I'm irritated. I took damage 30 seconds after the job started. It's just, it's a comedy of errors is what it is. It's the worst delivery ever. Well, no, not ever. It's pretty bad. Oh, hey, there's a place to sleep. Oh, look, traffic circle. Right. I don't know if I can get to that, if it's on the other side of the highway. If I can get in there, I'll get in there. It just feels like torture now. Can I get in there? Looks like I can get in there. All over the road. Okay, I think I can get in there. I know. Just trying not to hit this guy. Right. Holy monkey. Right. Give me the sleeps. Give me the sleeps. Oh, Jesus. Right. All right. 5 hours to get there. 5 hours to deliver the job, and it's going to take another hour to get there. Hour and a half. Okay. Don't need those. Do need those. Don't need that. Here we go. Going to use this exit. I thought I had to go all the way around, but I think I do. Right. So what do we have on this trip? We have damage, we have tickets, we have poor planning, we have hooked the trailer several times. I'm trying to think what else. think that's it. That's it. Other than that, it's been great. Alright, but we're going to do it. We're not giving up. Okay. Yep. I think we got it. And the PACCAR in this truck, the PACCAR motor in this truck is what, 460? And this thing is 24 tons, so I don't know. I mean, it definitely pulls different than the Scania, the 16 liter, but I think we're keeping it. I want something different than the Scania. I don't want to set up every truck so they're all same horsepower, same drive axle, same everything. Want them challenges. Right. So we can stop speeding now because I think we're gonna make it. God. Oh, it's just perseverance now. Just being stubborn. And of course, I'm wondering what Barcelona is going to do to our frame rate if it's set up the same way as Bilbao, and it's just going to kill us. We'll see when we get there. Right. And this is construction equipment, so we're probably taking it to, well, we're definitely taking it to like a job site or something, but we'll find out if it's in town or if it's one of those ones like a road cut out in the middle of nowhere. All the different drop-off points. Oh, plenty of places to sleep now. Now that we're wide awake. Heading out always the way. Alright, there goes our frame rate. Come back. Come back to me. This video is going to be long too. Oh well. So do we get a big reveal into Barcelona? Is that the way this is going to work out? Because we're fairly close to the city and I can't see any part of it yet. So curious if we come around a bend and it's just all laid out as you do. Little rush hour traffic heading into work on a Wednesday morning. Critical that I not miss my exit. Right. So far, so good. The frame rate's been up and down. I feel like as we get closer to and further away from some of the interchanges and traffic and AI splines and that sort of thing, it spikes down. But it's holding fairly well. It's just cities and ETS. You know, I don't really get too down about it because I know it's not necessarily my system. It's just the nature of cities in ETS. So it goes. Oh God. All right. You know what? We're keeping it. Wow. 10 FPS. This is fantastic. We're keeping this episode. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it's going up. It's going up. I'm not scared. But I think, yeah, I think every possible thing has gone wrong on this trip. Yeah. I was warned about these cities. But it was one of the reasons we came down here, was to see how bad it really was. And it's really bad. Holy smokes. And I don't know if you can hear my fans right now, but they are just howling. Right. Where we're going. God. Okay. Yep. Live and learn, folks. Always living and learning. Take a look. I'm going to go in and make one loop of that job site clockwise. And because it's typically like, yeah. Let me, how would we want to do this? I guess it's almost, I feel like it wants us to go clockwise, and that makes me want to go counterclockwise. Yeah, because if we come at it from this side, we don't have to deal with the trailer, right? If we come at it from the side that we're on now, we've got that little front loader on the trailer. If we come at it from the other side, we don't have that. So let's do that. Yeah, I went out of cab. I did. Oh, and it's a steering trailer too. Oh. I wonder if that was part of our drama on the way up here too, is that we had a steering trailer. Still my fault. when I say that, I'm not suggesting like, oh, it's totally cool. It was a steering trail. That's why I hit all those things. Right. Right. We're leaving it right there. Nobody move. We're not taking another step. Right. How'd we do? Not terrible. Not terrible. Not our best delivery. Folks, thanks so much for stopping back to check out the Portable Gamer. Thanks for joining us for another episode of European Truck Simulator. And we'll see you next time. Take care now.